Michaela, are you still working now?
Yes, I'm sorry. I think I'll be able to head home soon.
All you do is work. Even though we finally all get to live together, you haven't been fulfilling your duties as a daughter-in-law whatsoever.
I appreciate you for taking the time to do the chores around the house. My work is very important to me.
You are not fit to be a good daughter-in-law.
Why are you bringing this up?
When can I get to see the face of my grandchild?
Huh?
I have no idea why you decided to live with us. You say you have to work all the time, and because of that, you haven't been able to have children. Don't you feel bad for Simon?
I have been seriously considering having children, but that is up to my husband and I. We are not planning on having kids right away.
That doesn't matter. I want to have a grandchild now. You're a lost cause. I dislike you even more now after having to live with you.
I apologize for not meeting your expectations. I'm hopeful about having children. In the long term, I hope that you can eventually look after my child.
There's no way I can wait that long. The fact that you're my daughter-in-law, but you can't have children, is unbelievable. I wish they would just leave already.
I don't know how to respond when you say such things. I don't know how to react.
You're a defective wife. It would be best if you break up with Simon.
Please don't say that. I'll be home soon. Goodbye now.
I can finally kick you out of the house now.
What? What do you mean?
Ellie got pregnant.
She did? That's wonderful.
This is truly some news worth celebrating. We'll have no use for you any longer. Ellie is planning on giving birth when she comes home to visit. So, can you leave?
Huh? Are you seriously asking that?
Obviously, of course I'm going to prioritize my own daughter, who is pregnant, over you. Actually, why are you still even here?
You were the one who wanted me to live with you.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Regardless, I will be prioritizing Ellie, since she's pregnant. She'll be coming home this weekend, so you need to leave as soon as possible. A daughter-in-law without children is worthless.
I understand how you feel. You want to throw me out of the house? But did you discuss this with Simon?
Oh, why would I have to discuss things with Simon?
Why? Because we're married. If I no longer live with you, we will have to move out together. We'll need some time to talk things through.
You won't be needing to do that, since it's only you that has to leave.
Huh? Are you telling me that I have to leave Simon? Simon would never agree to that.
You know that he is my son, right? So of course, he'll listen to what I say. I'll convince him, so it's fine.
That's not the problem.
Why don't you stop complaining and start preparing your things to move out? This is perfect timing, since Simon is on a business trip.
I see. So you really are serious about this?
My daughter is coming back home to have a baby, so you better leave. Don't show your face ever again.
Is that really how you want things to be?
Leave. You're worthless.
Okay. So you seriously mean that? You don't want a daughter-in-law that can't have children? Fine. I will comply with your demands. I don't know what will happen, but I will be moving out.
Go ahead, and never come back.
I'm over this. There's no point in talking to you. I'll be leaving. Thank you for everything.
I heard that you're leaving. I'm sorry, but it was kind of my fault. But feel free to send me a celebratory gift.
You really haven't changed. I heard that you're going home to have the baby. But what are your plans after that?
Huh? What do you mean?
You're planning to live with your parents after that, right? But you haven't solved the problem you were dealing with.
How did you know? Oh yeah, we talked about this.
You're having a child, but is everything okay? Did you discuss this with your husband?
What do you mean, my husband? Who's that? We already got divorced.
Oh, I see. So you guys got divorced after everything. Did you tell your parents about this?
I haven't. When I told my mother that I got pregnant, she was overjoyed. I know that she won't care and will welcome me with open arms. I can depend on my family and get by that way. It's like killing two birds with one stone.
I see. If that's the case, then that's fine. I'm leaving that house anyways.
I don't plan on contacting you any further.
So figure things out with your family. Goodbye. Please, calm down. You've spam called me over 200 times now. This is ridiculous.
It's because you won't answer. I wanted you to pick up right away.
Why? I have no interest in talking to you any further. There's nothing to talk about.
You don't have to go as far as to say that. As your mother-in-law, I would like to speak with you. Answer the phone now.
Stop it! I told you, I'm not answering.
Huh?
I'm so done putting up with this. How long will it be until you stop thinking only about yourself? I already know why you're calling. You found out that I was the one paying for your living expenses. And now you're in shock because you realized after you had already kicked me out. That's why now you're frantically trying to contact me, right?
So it's true. What Simon said was true. I can't believe this. How were you able to pay for so much?
Isn't it obvious that I had to step up since Simon was unemployed? I tried my best to make enough for the both of us. I kept working overtime to be able to afford our daily expenses. I even used that money to take care of your guys' daily expenses as well. But perhaps you weren't aware of the real situation.
There's no way that Simon could have been unemployed. I thought he was just saying that to take your side.
He didn't tell you because he didn't want you to worry. But the company he worked at went bankrupt, so he had no choice. He didn't even receive a severance payment, so he just lost his job in the blink of an eye. That's why he actually hasn't been on a business trip. He went to another city to look for a new job.
What? Another city? Why would he purposely go off to another city?
Because I was stressed out about living with you. My job is remote, so it doesn't matter anyways. If we were to move to a different city, then we would no longer live with you. We thought that would be the best.
So you wanted to move out all along?
Isn't it obvious? You kept asking me where's my grandchild. You even called me a defective product. How am I supposed to enjoy myself living with you?
But the fact that you can't have a child is true.
We want to have kids once Simon has been re-employed and starts earning a stable income. We discussed and decided this together.
What? Really?
Yet here you are, not knowing anything. You didn't know that I pay for your livelihood. And you call me a defective daughter-in-law who works too much?
How was I supposed to know that?
And now you can't pay for all your expenses. So you contact me because you're in trouble. I don't have any plans to help you out now. It's not my job.
Wait, don't say that. I just didn't know. Come back. Help with your family's expenses.
No, my husband has found a new place to work. So we'll be moving there together. And Simon is really mad about what you said. He's planning on cutting off ties with you.
What? He wants to cut off ties with me. Not only you, but Simon too.
Of course. You kicked me out of the house and proudly laughed at me. That's why we will move out on our own accord as a couple. And we'll also be breaking off ties with you.
Aren't you being a bit dramatic? How can you say that? Ellie is coming home soon. So let's be a happy family together.
What are you saying? I have no intention of doing that. Oh yeah, I didn't say anything because I assumed you didn't know. But Ellie's child isn't her husband's.
What?
Ellie is pregnant, but it's not her husband's kid. Her husband made her pay for some damages. And probably pressured her for a divorce.
I have no idea what you're talking about. There's no way this is true. Ellie would never do something like that.
Ellie's husband can't even physically have a baby.
What?
She kept cheating on her husband, which is probably why this happened. But now Ellie is in a ton of debt and doesn't know who the baby father is. Her husband couldn't handle her any longer.
What debt? Hold on a second. So that means Ellie has already gotten divorced?
Yep. That's why she has nowhere else to return to. She's probably planning on living at your house from now on, even though you guys will be barely scraping by. You have even more baggage to deal with now. But I know that you really wanted to have a grandchild. So I guess it doesn't matter that you won't know who the father is.
This can't be true. How come I don't know any of this, even though I'm the mother? And yet someone unrelated like you knows.
She knew that I was making a decent amount of money working. So she kept asking me for money.
What? Ellie did that.
At first, she told me how she was scared her husband was going to dump her, so I felt bad and lent her some money. But of course, she never returned the money, so I stopped lending to her altogether. In the end, Ellie just gave that money to young men anyways. It was absolutely the right decision for me to stop lending to her.
What in the world are you talking about? There's no way this can be true. My daughter would never.
Well, you wanted to see your grandchild, so didn't this work out well for you?
But what will happen with our living expenses? If you and Simon leave, how am I supposed to live?
Why don't you get a job? You're just a stranger to us now, so we have no intention of helping you.
Do you have no compassion? Are you abandoning us?
Don't forget that the one who kicked me out was you.
I know, but I take back what I said. Come back home.
There's no way I'm going back to you, old hag. I never want to see you again.
Do you really have to say that?
I hope you have a fun life with your irresponsible daughter and your cute grandchild, but you'll probably have a rough time working. In the end, no matter how much Stella cried, Michaela continued to ignore her. Michaela and her husband moved to a city together far away. Stella was left by her son and his wife, even though she had no income. And in return, she had to take care of her heavy-spending daughter, which is why she eventually went out to get a job. She's working hard to pay off Ellie's debt, who can't work now since she's pregnant, which is why Stella has virtually no free time now. She seems to regret the decisions she's made, but it's no use because her life won't change no matter how regretful she becomes.
Hello, dear. How are you today? Oh, Mom, I don't know. I don't know what to do anymore. Do any more about what, dear? What do you think of that son of mine? He's in trouble again. Oh, no. Now what has he done? He told his principal to F off. What? He did not? My grandson used the F word to his principal? I know, but he did it. Well, I don't believe it. I mean, who said he said it? The principal? And you believe him over your own son? Well, I didn't have to believe my own son about anything because he didn't even make an effort to lie. Oh, well, that's good at least. Yeah, I have to give him props for copping to it immediately. I know that it's hard being a kid these days, but I would never have dreamed of doing something like that. And Dylan's a good kid, too. At least, I thought he was. No, he is a good boy, and I'm not just saying that because I'm his grandmother. Oh, really? You aren't? No, absolutely not. He must be going through something. That could be the only reason why he would do something like that. Well, I don't know what he could possibly be going through. Nothing he's told me about, that's for sure. Me or his father. Well, does this principal have some sort of a problem with him or something? No, as a matter of fact, Mr. Grimley is a really nice man. Mr. Grimley? Yeah, I know, he sounds like he should be a mortician or something, but he's really an incredible principal. He's never had a problem with Dylan, or the other way around. All Mr. Grimley asked him to stand up straight because he knows he's been having some problems with his back. I mean, I was the one who mentioned it to him for crying out loud, so now I'm just blaming myself, of course. Oh, come on, honey, you can't do that to yourself. That's just ridiculous. Well, I'm a mom. I can't help it. I think you're the one who taught me that. What, the joys of motherly guilt? Yeah, sure, and the joys of the therapy bills that come along with it. Oh, well, honey, join the club, I guess. So what should I do then? Tell me something at least. I mean, that brother of mine was no angel, was he? Christian? No, he definitely was not. In fact, your father and I considered an exorcism a number of times. What? Are you serious? An exorcism? No, of course not, dear. At least not a literal one. Well, I don't think that we were at that point with Dylan yet. And you won't get there. Don't you worry about that kid. Not if I have anything to say about it. Well, no offense, Mom, but what are you going to do about it? I mean, what kind of an influence does a grandma have over a grandson? Not a grandma, honey, but a grandpa? That's a different story. Well, okay, I agree, but Dad died before Dylan was born, and Michael's dad is, shall we say, not the best with today's generation of children? Perhaps there's a few stories I could tell the boy about his dear old departed grandpa that may help him along, show him what it means to be respectful. I don't know, Mom. Do you really think he can sit still long enough to listen to any of them? Well, we'll be using technology. That's how kids think these days, isn't it? So I'll be on his level. Well, okay, if you want to try it out, go ahead, but if he's bored to tears, don't get your heart broken. Don't worry, darling. I'm fairly resilient to children breaking my heart at this point in my life. Well, I can't wait to get to that point. It takes a very, very long time. So what are you going to tell him about Dad that you think would help him? Well, your father lived quite a life. I suppose it may be hard to even decide what to tell him. Okay, well, what's the point going to be, though? The point? What do you mean? Well, I mean, why will you be telling him all of this? What do you hope he will take away from Dad's life? Well, I suppose how to be a good man. A good man in a corrupted and fallen world. Oh, well, best of luck to you on that one, but I'll bet you a cappuccino and a cookie that he doesn't learn a thing. You have such little faith in your son, Cheryl. I hope you don't make this a habit. I just know him. I mean, I hope I'm wrong. I hope he's not going down a wrong path. Well, we'll see about that now, won't we? Hello, dear. How is my favorite grandson doing today?
Oh, hi, Grandma. Fine, I guess.
Just fine? Well, how is school? Is school going okay?
Yeah. School is fine, I guess.
And your grades are up?
No, not really. Where did you hear that from?
Well, I heard it from your mother. Your mother told me that you've gotten your grades up this quarter.
Well, she might think that, but it's not true.
Why would she think that if it isn't true?
Well, can you keep a secret, Grandma?
Okay, sure, Dylan, of course I can.
Okay, but don't tell Mom in particular.
All right, I promise that I won't.
Well, sometimes I alter my grades.
You altered them? What do you mean?
Well, like if I'm bringing a test home for her to sign, I'll turn a D into a C.
But doesn't she ask you why she has to sign a C?
I just told her that Mrs. McDonald is crazy and has some weird new policy about C's. I mean, at least until I get better at forging her signature, of course.
Dylan, I'm not so sure all of that is such a great idea.
What do you mean? Which part of it?
All of it. All parts of it.
Well, what's the big deal? I mean, they're just stupid little homework things anyway. It's not like they're tests or anything.
Honey, I heard that you had a little run-in with your principal recently.
Oh, you heard about that, huh?
Yes, you swore at him?
No, I didn't. He misunderstood me is all.
Oh, really? And how did he misunderstand you? What is it that you were trying to say, if not what he thought he heard?
Well, truck cough.
Truck cough?
Yeah, that's right.
So the principal told you to stand up straight, you got mad at him and said truck cough?
Yeah, it's the new thing that the kids are saying, Grandma. You wouldn't know.
Use it in a sentence, then.
Hey, why don't you come over this weekend and we can truck cough?
Nice try, dear.
Alright, fine, I said it, so what?
But why, honey? Why would you say such a thing to him? You know that's wrong. You knew you'd get in trouble.
Well, I just don't like people telling me what to do.
Yes, but honey, he's the principal. He's supposed to tell you what to do.
Yeah, well, that doesn't make it right.
Well, it makes it what it is, though, Dylan. Did you know that your grandfather had a problem with authority, too?
Grandpa, he did. Mom never told me that.
Well, she probably didn't want to encourage it in you, but apparently it came out anyway. I guess it's in your genes.
Wait, it works like that? You mean I hate my teachers because Grandpa did too?
Well, something like that. It's not quite that simple.
Well then, if it's in my genes, then I can't help it, can I?
Yes, actually you can, honey, and you can also use that gene to your benefit.
What do you mean?
Here's something else you probably didn't know about your grandfather. He was a union organizer.
A what?
He helped men and women who were working in dangerous jobs fight for better conditions and pay.
Like, how did he do that? He took the bosses outside during lunch and fought them or something?
Well, no, but I'm sure that he would have liked to. He leveraged the power of the workers.
But what does that mean, though? I don't understand.
Okay, well, say you're in school and your teachers are giving out way too much homework. More homework than anyone could possibly do.
Yeah?
And someone, say a student, decides to get all the other students together and he convinces them to stop doing all homework until the issue of too much homework is resolved.
So, if nobody does homework, how can everybody fail?
Well, yeah, sort of, yeah. Hey, you're a smart kid, Dylan. Not that I didn't know that already.
But what about the goody two-shoes kids who will do their homework anyway? What does this person do about them?
Oh, well, those are called scabs. They're basically just harassed until they fall in line.
Oh wow, hey, Grandpa was a pretty cool guy, wasn't he?
That he was, dear. I really wish you could have gotten to meet him. I think the two of you would have gotten along very well. Perhaps maybe even a little too well.
Mom, what the hell did you tell Dylan?
Well, I don't know. What do you mean? I told Dylan a lot of things.
What did you specifically tell him about Dad and his activities as a union organizer?
Oh, well, I was just telling him a little bit of the history about your father and some of the work that he did with the unions.
Well, did you use any long, drawn-out, half-assed metaphors to try to describe it? You know, like the way you always do?
Well, I mean, I may have used a few old folk maxims and the like.
Uh-huh, yeah. And did you mention anything about school and students forming a union against their teachers? And all of them together just refusing to do homework?
Well, I may have used that as just an example of what I was talking about.
Mom, do you have any idea what you've done?
Well, it was just an example. I was only trying to get him to understand my point.
And what point was that exactly?
About your father and how he could just possibly have a lot in common with him is all.
Oh, he has a lot in common with him, all right, because do you know what he did?
Well, what? Tell me already. What did he do?
He did exactly what you suggested. He formed a frickin' union. He formed a frickin' 4th grade union against homework.
Well, that is not what I suggested.
Well, that is certainly what he took from it. It was like talking to you just gave him permission to be even worse.
Then it was a simple misunderstanding. You know that I would never have advised him to do such a thing.
He's a very willful boy. I guess maybe he does have a lot of Dad in him.
And he has a lot of his mother in him too, whether you allow yourself to see it or not.
Well, yeah, supposedly that's what you keep saying, but I'm not so sure about that. There is no way that I would ever do anything like this. He convinced 15 other students to stop doing homework. Can you believe that? Not only that, a couple of them have been harassing the students who are still turning in their homework. They're even calling them scabs. Was that something that Dylan picked up from his grandmother as well?
Well, I was only trying to give him some historical context.
Okay, Mom, this is all just totally unacceptable, all right?
Yes, I know. I didn't know that this would happen. You have to believe me.
I know, Mom. Of course you didn't want him to form a union. God, that sounds so ridiculous to say out loud. My 10-year-old formed a union.
I'll talk to him, honey. I'll work it out with him. I'll tell him that this isn't what his grandfather meant.
Yeah, but this is what Dad meant.
What do you mean?
Well, I'm not so convinced that he wouldn't be tickled to death that his grandson formed a 4th grade union.
Well, we certainly won't tell him that then, won't we?
But what are you going to tell him?
What do you mean?
I mean that you have to fix this, Mom. You have to tell him that this is not the way we do things.
All right, I'll talk to him. I'm so sorry, dear. I really didn't want this to happen.
Well, you said it yourself. You never expected it to. He's my kid, after all. So if you could just please talk to him and tell him to save the union stuff until at least college, okay?
Okay, dear, I'll tell him.
Hey, Grandma, did you hear the good news? I formed a union, just like Grandpa did.
Yes, dear, I did hear about that. Your mother told me.
Yeah, I did it just like you told me. I got all the kids together and said, enough with this homework crap. They can't stop all of us.
Well, how did it go?
Well, we all got detention for 2 weeks, but don't worry, we'll be back, and bigger and better than ever.
Honey, you know, I really didn't mean for you to be the one to do that. Actually, I didn't mean for anyone to do it at all. It was just an example, and a very poor one at that.
But I thought it was pretty good. It helped me understand what a union was. And it even got me inspired to make one myself.
I know, honey, and I was glad to inspire you, but I just wish I had inspired you in something else.
Like what? What's more important than students' rights? Power to the kids!
Well, students' rights are very important, don't get me wrong, dear. It's just that...
Yeah, it's just that what?
Well, it's just that You're only in 4th grade. You don't really have any power to do anything, nor should you.
Wait, what do you mean, Grandma? What are you saying?
I'm just saying that maybe you should just focus on school and be grateful that you get to go to a nice one. Because a lot of kids your age don't, you know. A lot of schools in this country are in terrible condition.
Really? They are?
Yes, with crumbling buildings, terrible food in the cafeteria.
You mean even worse than our Salisbury steak?
I'm sure it's worse than your Salisbury steak. And the education standards are very much below par.
Well, then maybe they should stand up against their teachers too. Maybe they should form a union and strike against their conditions.
Wait, no, Dylan, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that you have it good, that you should be grateful for it.
Yeah, they just need someone to lead them is all. A strong and powerful leader. A strong and powerful leader like...
Oh God, don't say it, Dylan.
Like me!
Oh no.
And I could use TikTok, yeah!
What?
I could spread my message so much faster that way, and then every kid in the whole world can finally stand up against homework. It'll be a revolution, and I'll go down in history, and Grandpa will be so proud, wherever he is. And it'll all be thanks to you, Grandma.
Oh, God help us.
Hi, Mom. How are you doing today?
Oh, fine, dear, fine. And how are you?
Oh, you know, I'd complain, but who would listen, right?
Yes, right.
So, what's going on? What are you up to today? Anything fun?
Nope, not really. Just going to have coffee with Sally later.
Oh, great. Well, tell her I said hi.
I will. Dear, is anything wrong?
Anything wrong? Why should anything be wrong?
Well, it's just that you're acting a little strange is all.
Well, I don't know. Have you seen the news, Mom? What that little 4th grade boy is doing on TikTok, trying to start a revolution?
Oh dear, he really went through with it, did he?
So you knew about this. You knew he was going to do this, and you didn't say anything?
Well, it's not that I wasn't going to say anything, it's just that it was such a ridiculous idea. I never thought he'd actually try it.
Well, now he has, and kids everywhere are refusing to do their homework, and guess who all of their parents blame for that? Me.
Oh, well, honey, just tell them that it was my fault. Tell them that your mother put him up to it.
Tell who? Don Lemon? You want me to throw you under the bus like you threw me under the bus?
But I didn't throw you under the bus, honey. I just...
So you just did nothing to stop it?
Well, what can I do about it now, honey? I'll do anything. Just tell me.
There's nothing you can do now, Mom. It's too late. The damage is done.
Well, where is Dylan now?
He's in his room, which is where he's going to be staying for the foreseeable future.
Can I come and see him? Maybe talk to him about all of this?
No, Mom, you cannot talk to him. I think I'd prefer it if you didn't talk to him for a while.
Wait, what? I can't talk to my own grandson. What do you mean?
I mean, I'm beginning to think that you're a bad influence on him.
What? Are you serious?
Well, can you blame me, Mom? The first time you tried to give him advice, he tried to start a revolution at his school. The second time, he tried to start one worldwide. I can't risk him trying to influence the children of Mars or something.
Well, I'm sorry, honey, okay? I just don't know what else to do.
Nothing. There's nothing you can do, and the fact that you feel the need to do anything is the problem. Dylan is my son, do you understand?
That's right, and this all started because he swore at his principal, remember? Not because of me.
Yes, I know, and believe me, I blame myself way more than I blame you. But you have to understand, Mom, I literally have reporters outside of my door right now.
You do? Outside your house? Right now? What channel?
What difference does it make, Mom?
Well, if it's on live, I figured I'd turn it on and see.
Ugh, Mom, would you please take this seriously?
I am, honey, I am taking this seriously, okay? I'm sorry.
Well, I appreciate that, and I do forgive you, but it doesn't matter anymore. Dylan's been expelled.
Expelled? What? Why?
They said that with all of the attention on him from the media, it's just too much for them. and they're afraid that he'll continue to be a bad influence on the other students.
But it wasn't his fault that the media jumped on the story. He doesn't have any control of that.
Mom, that is not the point. You just don't get it. Please, just don't talk to me until you do.
But wait, honey, wait. Hi, honey. How's it going? How's the homeschooling going?
Hey, Grandma, it's okay. Not quite the same as learning in school, but Mom's actually a pretty decent teacher.
You know, I homeschooled her once for a couple of months.
What? My mom? You did?
Yeah, when she was a few years older than you and had mono. She had to miss a lot of school.
Mono? What's mono?
Well, it stands for mononucleosis.
But what is it?
It's a disease.
Is it a bad one? Like one that you could die from?
I guess I should be honest with you, but I always get in trouble for it. I hate to mess it up right when your mom lets us talk again.
No, go ahead. I can handle the truth.
Well, okay, it can be fatal, and it was much more often in the past. But these days, it can be very easily treated. And even back when your mom had it, there was no question that she'd be okay.
Oh, okay, good.
Which means that if you were to get it, you'd be okay too.
Oh, okay, great. I mean, that's what I was wondering.
So when are you going back to school?
Well, I can't go back to my old school, obviously. They could never accept me back.
Well, of course.
They think I'm dangerous to the other kids. Can you believe that?
Now that is just ridiculous. There is nothing dangerous about ideas. It's just the people who do bad things with those ideas.
Like what I did with Grandpa's ideas?
What do you mean, honey?
Well, I mean, like how I took his good ideas of helping workers and made them into excuses to be bad.
Is that how you see it? Is that how you see what you did?
I mean, that's kind of how everybody made me feel.
Honey, your grandfather would have been very proud of a lot of what you did.
Really? Do you really think he would have?
Absolutely. It was that kind of a can-do spirit that he always tried to get his kids to have. But it never really took for them. I guess we had to wait for his grandson.
Wow, that's awesome. I really wish that I would have gotten to meet him.
I know, sweetie.
When did he die?
Well, he died about 15 years ago, honey.
So like about 5 years before I was born?
Something like that, yeah.
Grandma, do you miss him?
Well, yes, dear, I do. I miss him every day.
Well, why don't you just get a new husband then?
Oh, honey, I don't know. I suppose I could, sure. But I guess I just haven't met the right man. Maybe I will someday, though.
Well, my old principal isn't married. Maybe you can go out with him. I could put a good word in for you.
You mean the principal who you told to, truck cough?
Oh, him and I made up. We're friends again.
Well, great. I'm really glad to hear that, Dylan. And I really hope you like your new principal, too.
Yeah, that school seems really cool. Like they really put the students first, you know? And the best part is, no homework.
No homework? What do you mean, no homework?
Well, they've rethought the whole idea of school, Grandma. There's no grades even.
But you still learn without grades and homework? But how?
Well, I don't know, but I guess I'll find out. They said it was the perfect school for a kid like me.
You mean a bright, enterprising young man who is going places?
Yeah, Grandma, something like that. I mean, I don't know what enterprising means, but it sounds good.
It is, dear. It is.
Hi, Mom. How's it going?
Oh, hello, dear. How are you?
Mom, don't be awkward. You know that I'm not mad at you anymore. I haven't been for a month.
Oh, okay. Well, good. Because I don't think I could handle that for much longer.
You're my mom. I can't stay mad at you. And plus, I know that you never meant to inspire Dylan to cause a TikTok fad to inspire students' rights.
I really didn't, honey. I don't even know what a TikTok is.
And you don't want to, believe me. Kids these days, I swear, I get so scared of them. It was nothing like when I was growing up, Mom.
Honey, do you know what you sound like?
Oh no. Old.
You said it, not me.
Well, I know that every generation feels that way, but this is different, right? I mean, this is all so different. Everything is moving so fast.
Everything always moves fast, honey. It's just that when you get older, time seems to move even faster.
Well, I hate it. I hate everything about it.
You don't have to love it, honey, but you do have to accept it.
Well, I guess Dad did, didn't he? He aged very gracefully.
Oh, your father was a silver fox.
Okay, well, yeah.
What? He was?
I really wish that Dylan would have gotten to meet him.
He would have been so proud.